Okay, so I'm going to start with a question that I've had from many people, and it's a thought process that many guys have when they've got anxiety and shyness, and that is, what's the point of me being social and talking to people when nobody really likes me, nobody finds me interesting, and I've got nothing to offer people? Well, that's a great question, and I'll answer that question, and it would be great as well if we can get some contribution to this video where we can all chat in the box below, and really basically that's the exercise I'm going to give all of you, and I'll explain what I mean. So, you know, when you say, well, what's the point of me talking to people and being social because, you know, I've got nothing to offer people, and I think nobody likes me, and, you know, people think I'm strange or I'm weird, or they think I'm unattractive, or they think I'm not intelligent. Well, just from a basic human standpoint, there is actually a point in you being social and talking to people, because we're not designed as human beings. We're definitely not designed to be antisocial, regardless of how much, you know, we've changed in our technological advancements, and with the internet now, and social media, and YouTube, Facebook, got all these different platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Zoom, Skype. You know, these are amazing inventions. You know, these technological you know, tools that we can use can help us, you know, to solve certain problems, but they still don't outdo or outvalue the fact that we need real human connection. We need to speak to people in person, and obviously you don't need to, you know, you don't need to be around your friends every single day, or anyone. That might be a bit too much, but you definitely need to be at least 50% social in your life. And what I mean by that is 50% of your life and your time is spent talking to people in person and being social. I'm not including over the internet. I'm not going to include that as part of being social, even though it has its place. In this particular scenario we're talking about, we're coming back to that original negative belief, which is strong when you have it. I used to have it as well. Everybody has it, actually. Everybody deals with it different, where even today, people, you know, the belief will say, well, what's the point of me making a YouTube video when no one's going to like the video, no one's going to watch it, it's not going to get as many views as someone else? Well, there is a point, because there will be someone that will watch the video. There might, even if it's one person in the whole earth, that video will touch that person. It will inspire them. It will maybe take away their feeling of not being good enough, or help them to realize that they're not on their own, that they're not weird. There are other people struggling with the same thing, and there is hope. They can overcome it. So you're the one that's got to, you've got to make a point, because we could all be very pessimistic, extremely pessimistic, and say, well, what's the point of anything then? Because we're all going to, you know, at some point we're all going to die. That's a fact. Well, the point is enjoying life, being happy. If you want to have the other narrative, which is obviously a choice, if you say, well, the reason why I'm not going to speak to people no more is because I don't see a point in it, they don't like me anyway. How is your life going to be from that point then? Obviously, that's your choice, but life's going to be very depressing. There's no way a person can go on living like that and not have severe depression, anxiety, paranoia, bad thoughts, you know, awful mood swings, and probably affect every area of your life: sleeping pattern, your eating, your relationship, your health, your mental health. There's a point. You don't want to get mentally sick. So being social should never ever be looked at as something that's not valuable. And I know we live in a world today where, and it's been like this for many years, where people probably value money more than people, but maybe you've got to go through a few things and realize that there's people that got a lot of money, but they've got that same belief, and they're so lonely and empty. You know, you can't hug your money. Your money can't give you a kiss on the cheek and tell you that it loves you, or give you a hug. You can't get that from a piece of paper, unfortunately. You know, so you need to push past that if you want to be happy. And that's the question I would ask back at you. If you're asking the question, well, what's the point of me talking to anyone because no one likes me? How do you know that? And to me, that does sound a lot like victim mentality, which is a mentality that would never get you to arrive at any positive goal. because I would challenge you and I would say that that belief has obviously come from some trauma in the past. And of course, we've all had people in our life that didn't like us. But if you be honest, you've also not liked other people, but it's not everybody. It's not like the whole world is against you. And maybe you've got to look at yourself and say, well, maybe I've got to work on myself. Probably I do have to work on myself. I've got to improve my self-esteem. I've got to get down the gym. I've got to start being the way that I want people to be with me. Maybe you've got to be, if you've got a bad attitude and you're aggressive and moody and miserable, then people are not going to like you. What do you expect? But even if you're down, if you're kind and you're honest, then there'll always be people out there that will want to connect with you and like you. Like, in a sense, life can be tough, it can be unfair, but there are areas where it's very fair. And I can honestly tell you from my experience, my own journey with these fears and overcoming them, and obviously coaching hundreds of people, there are people out there right now that would love you and like you and accept you and embrace you, and you get on with them. But if you don't open your mouth and say hello, and you don't get past that really negative belief, which is basically rejecting you, you're rejecting yourself, or an aspect of yourself. The negative part is rejecting. So it's having the intelligence and the awareness to understand the negative consequences of going with that narrative and living your whole life from that belief. Because I did that at the early start of my life. My life was awful, and I changed the belief by changing my attitude. And then when you changing a belief is not just about going, well, look, I believe that nobody likes me, no one's interested in being friends with me, I've got nothing to offer. That's the negative belief. So how do we change that and go, how do we fundamentally change that inside and feel in our heart, do you know what? Like, not in an arrogant way, but I'm actually a cool person, I'm an attractive person, I'm intelligent, I've got a lot to offer, and people like me. Not everybody has to like me, but lots of people will like me, and I can offer loads to people. You know, just my love, just my character, just being around me, my integrity, you know, just my interests, my hobbies, my energy. That's what I've got to offer. To get to that belief, you're not going to get there just by, I mean, it's a good start to say that, but you're going to have to go out and prove to yourself that you can do it. And you do that by talking to people. And I've said the values that I live by that work in this challenging world that we live in. And it can even be wonderful or disastrous depending on obviously your view on the world, the way that you show up, how you act, how you treat others. You know, by having the conversations, when you get a good conversation going with someone, guys, whether it's same gender or the opposite gender, doesn't matter. When you have that great connection with another human being, you come away and you think, I really enjoyed that. And I could see they really enjoyed it. We both enjoyed it. And it makes you feel like, oh, I am good enough, I am enough. I have got a lot to offer. Like, that person did enjoy my company. Like, that was so positive. When you get that positive experience, it makes you realise, I don't want to go back to being negative. I don't want to be that person who thinks that, you know, there's no point to life, there's no point to talking to people, there's no point in building connections. I'm not being that. That's no fun being that person. It's no fun having that outlook. I want to be that person that just had that conversation with the other person, and I'm actually enjoying. So that's the challenge that you face. And this is what my coaching, my confidence coaching can help you to successfully overcome. So we're changing a negative belief, we are replacing it. We're not just changing a negative belief, we are manually building a new belief. We're building a new belief, and it's not just that false optimism, it's real. And the way we're going to build the belief is by taking action, is by coming out of our social comfort zone and talking to people until we arrive at the people that we connect with. So I think somewhere down the line, within this belief, you've got a fear of being rejected and hurt by people. And I know that because I had the same fear. Because at some point, you obviously was hurt by people. We've all been hurt by people. But let's be honest, guys. If we're being really honest, not everybody's hurt us in our life. I mean, maybe there's some people like that. It's quite unlikely. There's also people that have been good to you. But you've kind of forgotten about the people that have been good to you and loved you and been loyal to you. And you've put your focus on the negative experiences with people, and you've taken on that narrative. So it's about letting go of that narrative, but obviously no one can force you. I can't force you. Even if, as good as I am as a coach and my experience, someone who comes from that place where you're at and has overcome that, you've got to be coachable. You've got to want me to coach you. You've got to obviously allow that and be open. And just from what I've said today, some of you can go and achieve this without coaching. Now, with all honesty, it's going to be a lot easier having me as a coach doing the Skype program, because we'll have that conversation. And let me explain why coaching is good, because some people don't understand. They don't know the value of it. Let me explain. I'll make it so simple. The value in coaching is the help and the support. Most people struggle to achieve their goals because they don't have any help and support. They don't have someone who's got their best interest at heart, someone that understands who they are, what their story is, what their challenges are, and what their goals are, and someone who can develop a strategy to achieve those goals. Coaching's amazing. And some people will say, is coaching like having a friend? I would probably disagree and say, to start with, it's a bit different to just having a friendship. I think that it is a different relationship. It is very unique in that it can become that, but it doesn't always have to become a friendship. But it's more someone that you can confide in, and someone that's going to be real and honest with you and give you that tough love when need to be, if that is needed. It's not always needed. And what I mean by tough love, I don't mean but just someone to be honest with you and say, look, this is where you're going wrong, and this is how you've got to put it right. So a coach is someone who helps you and supports you to help yourself beyond your fears in order to achieve your goals. I couldn't have summarised that any better. Now, obviously, within help and support, every coach has got their own unique way of teaching. I've got my own signature, bespoke way of teaching to people. Most of it, for me, it just comes natural to me. I don't even know how I do it. It's a God-given gift from a kid. But there are other areas that I've learned over time. You learn through coaching hundreds and thousands of people successfully, and also at the start unsuccessfully. Sometimes people where you haven't been able to help them, haven't got the right attitude, or you've not been able to do it. So I've learned. But yeah, most of it for me is just, and I think it comes from, because I've come from the place, all my clients have come from pain, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, negative beliefs, not being social, not having the best social skills to begin with, but then developing them through action, experience, and then developing, awareness, intelligence, being present, and obviously developing your human consciousness, for a better word. So, no, there is a point, man, when you see the happiness that you gain, and I'll tell you straight, look, we're not talking about boxing people in and labelling people. Society likes doing that. But if you stay introverted your whole life, you're not going to get nowhere. You do have to learn to be more extroverted. And, fundamentally, being an introvert is not a bad thing. But staying introverted all the time is terrible. You're not going to get nowhere in life. You're not going to make money. You're not going to build relationships. You can't give value to people, because how can you if you're not speaking to them and putting that positive energy in your personality, your stories, your values, your hobbies, your interest, your unique sense of humour, your intelligence? All of that goes to waste if you just remain quiet and let the fear win. And it's back to that belief. So that's my answer to that question. When you say, what's the point? And you don't know. You can't decide. You can't read everybody's mind and decide and think, oh yeah, well, everybody don't like me. There's no point talking to them. Have you spoke to everyone? It's impossible. You haven't. You haven't gone around the whole world and spoke to every person and then come back and gone, well, I just spoke to everyone on planet Earth and everybody doesn't like me. Everybody says I'm boring, so I'm on my own. I've got no friends. It's impossible. It's impossible. And that'll be a good challenge. And I don't think any of us have got the time to complete that. Well, we definitely don't. So I've really shattered that belief there and challenged it. So it's so important, man. A big part of my personal recovery from, achieving everything, being successful, and then having a breakdown was getting back to being social again. And I've said in my videos, sometimes you ain't got the strength to do it, so you've got to get down the gym and you've got to get fit. Fit body, fit mind. And what that really means is if someone is fit, their mentality, their mind's sharp, they're more confident socially, they're more in the now, they're more present, they are more engaging, they've got the confidence to to take that risk and say to someone, oh, hi, nice to meet you. My name's Jonathan. My name's David, Johnny, Jack, Paul, Peter. What's your name? Oh, my name's Josh, David, Tom. Oh, okay, great. Where are you from? Where'd you go? To do that, it's simple, but it goes a long way. So I'll end it here because I want to save some energy and we'll continue this video. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the box below. I'm giving you two exercises today. First one is to be social in the box below and say something, say hello or add to what I've said in the video. Let me know if you got value from it. And your next tip from today is to challenge that belief by having a conversation with someone new. Just saying hello, just even trying to do a bit of small talk and see how you feel after. You'll find you'll feel better after. That belief lies. It says, well, there's no point in talking to people or doing a YouTube video or going to the gym or going to a job interview or going on a date because I'm not going to get nothing out of it. It won't go nowhere. But you don't know that. You can't predict how you're going to feel when you're at point A and you haven't arrived at point B. How can I be in point A and go, there's no point? Do you understand? So you've got to do it to see how you're going to feel, and you'll definitely feel better in most cases, unless you don't speak to someone that's just negative that you don't get along with. If you talk to enough people, you will arrive at a positive point, you'll connect, you'll relate, and then a relationship will form, or even just a familiar face and a good acquaintance, nothing wrong with that. Or sometimes you have a great connection with people and you might never see that person again. I've had it with women, guys, friends. I've spoke to someone, we've had a great connection, and then we've never seen each other again, not for anything negative, because they've got to go back to the country, or it just happened, we didn't exchange numbers. So there is always a point in being social. It's great for health, attractiveness, mental health, everywhere, for work, uni, dating, relationships, friends, and even your own family. So being social is really important, all right? See you soon, and become fearless.